Afternoon and welcome to the Hamilton County Commission Board Meeting, March 14th, 2024. I'm going to ask everybody to introduce themselves on the dais.
Hi, Teresa Gillio, Administration. Leslie Hervey, Clerk to the Board.
Stephanie Summerall Dumas, Commissioner.
Good afternoon. I'm County Commissioner Denise Driehaus.
Jeff Polito, County Administrator. Michael Friedman, Legal Counsel.
And I'm Hamilton County Commission President Alicia Reese. We always start our meeting with silent prayer followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. So please join us in silent prayer. Amen. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I make a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting.
Second?
Commissioner Reese.
Yes.
Commissioner Driehaus.
Yes.
Commissioner Summer Dumas.
Yes.
Thank you. Now we'll open it up for public comment. I have one card here from Stephen Stanford. You have the floor for 2 minutes.
Thank you, Madam President. Vice President Driehaus, Commissioner Dumas. Got 2 updates with the commission for you guys over there at our office. I think you'll be pleased with. We passed to have bi-monthly meetings now, so we'll be meeting twice a month to handle the veteran services issues, as well as we passed parking reimbursement for veterans who come in for appointments. They will no longer have to pay for parking to come see us.
That's awesome.
The other thing that I would ask you guys to consider is I know I spoke to Brian Jones during the 513 bus outreach. You guys had passed a reduction in sewer for your senior homestead. I'd ask you guys to extend that to veterans who are qualified for the homestead exemption as well. And in all transparency, I am one. But talking with Mr. Jones, he felt they had discussed that. I think that'd be a nice thing for veterans to qualify as well throughout the county, especially with the current tax issues as they are. And that is pretty much where we're at. We are making progress, and I had promised you guys that I would keep you informed, and that is why I'm here.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. And we'll ask Mr. Ludo to get back with us on that other option for veterans. So that's good news. We have a presentation, and I apologize, for a proclamation recognizing Severe Weather Awareness Week. And I'm going to start with the proclamation. This is where Severe Weather Awareness Week creates an important opportunity for every resident, worker, and visitor of Hamilton County to become educated, informed, and able to prepare their homes and businesses for severe weather facing the area.
And whereas investing in the preparedness and education of ourselves, our families, and businesses can reduce fatalities and economic devastation in our communities, and whereas preparedness against severe weather is the responsibility of every resident in Hamilton County, and all residents are urged to make preparedness a priority and work together to ensure that individuals, families, and communities are prepared for severe weather.
And whereas all residents of Hamilton County are encouraged to participate in personal preparedness and severe weather informational activities and are asked to register for the mass public notification system, Alert Hamilton County, and to follow Hamilton County Emergency Management and Homeland Security Agency on social media. And whereas the Hamilton County Emergency Management and Homeland Security Agency and National Weather Service, Wilmington, are working to increase public activities and knowledge and preparedness for severe weather by hosting Severe Weather Awareness Week.
Therefore, be it proclaimed that the Hamilton County Commissioners, on behalf of its residents and the entire community, hereby extend its deepest gratitude and appreciation to Hamilton County Emergency Management and Homeland Security for their contributions to Hamilton County, an unwavering dedication to protecting the residents. Be it further proclaimed that the Hamilton County Board of County Commissioners does hereby proclaim March 17th, 2023-2024 Severe Weather Awareness Week in all of Hamilton County. And we'll open it up to you.
Yeah, so I think it's ironic. I mean, a couple of things have happened already. We've already had our first tornado watch in the middle of February, and then we're under severe thunderstorm watch this afternoon. So I think the ongoing message to residents is to be aware that severe weather happens. It happens pretty much year-round. The stuff we really watch for is between the middle of February and the middle of November. High winds, flooding, tornadoes, landslides, anything like that can impact the public in a large way. And this is an opportunity for us. We do several public events during this time, but also to promote Alert Hamilton County. I like to say between our outdoor warning sirens, Alert Hamilton County, which can call, text, or email you if there's a tornado warning over your registered address, Smart 911, which the county pays for, that helps 911 operators when somebody calls 911. And then, of course, the wireless emergency alerts which both us and the National Weather Service can use to alert people on their cell phones, regardless of where they're at. If you can't get a warning in Hamilton County, you're not trying. So again, we encourage people, and you'll see some. We're working with the administration to do some advertising on social media for Alert Hamilton County and Smart 911. It's a critical system. The outdoor warning sirens are meant to be. While we have one of the most expansive networks in the state of Ohio, it's only meant to be heard outdoors, and there's lots of things that hinder the ability to hear an outdoor warning siren. Between making sure your phone can receive wireless emergency alerts and make sure those notifications are turned on, and then signing up for Alert Hamilton County, I think that there's a great way to not only be informed of severe weather, but also to know when it's happening around you so you can take action.
Awesome. I'll open it up if anyone wants to add.
Well, no, I just want to thank you and your team for all of your work. You are keeping us well prepared. I don't know anybody else with the same kind of enthusiasm that you have, Nick, for this work. And I've been to national conferences with you, and you're renowned for your enthusiasm when it comes to preparedness. And it's a real tribute to you, and it's great for our community to have you so well informed and then pushing that message out to our residents. So I applaud you for that. I do want to ask you about the weather today. My mom called me earlier. There's supposed to be severe storms, so I'm just wondering how severe and if you know.
I don't think it's going to be that bad. They said it was mainly. We always say it's either east or west of 71 or north or south of 70. And the write-ups I saw this morning was north of the big stuff north of 70. So I think we just may see some normal, what I would call normal storms this afternoon if the weather holds up.
All right. Well, very good. I will pass that along to the concerned public. Thank you.
Open up, Commissioner Dumas.
Thank you, Nick, for what you do and for your staff, and you do it well. And as I said, I sleep very well at night because I know we have a great staff working to keep us safe. Thank you.
Awesome. We're going to come around, get represented, and get a.
And I just want to say that I really appreciate the board's and the administration's support. We can't be as successful as we are without, especially our elected officials supporting us like you do.
Thank you. Nick does a great job. Now we'll move to our comments, and I'm going to start off One, I want to send our condolences and prayers to John Lomax's family and Channel 12. And John was a giant. It's going to be weird to have opening day without him. And just wanted to send out prayers. I know he's received a lot of awards and proclamations over the years, and he's interviewed probably everyone that knows him. But also, he was a father, husband, family man. So I wanted to express our condolences to his family. Also want to express condolences to Bridget Daughtry's family. Bridget is our chief communications officer, and her father, she lost her father, and we just wanted to give her prayers and condolences to her and her family as well in this very tough time. So I wanted to pass that along. Also wanted to thank the Cincinnati Chamber Orchestra. I was a speaker at their event, Summer Musk, that they had at Zion Baptist Church, and it was a great crowd. I want to thank them for inviting me to come and be one of the speakers, and they do such a phenomenal job, so I wanted to thank them as well. Also, I had attended and spoke at the unveiling of the traveling Harriet Tubman statue, and I invite everyone to get down there to the National Underground Railroad Freedom Center. She leaves at the end of April, so I want to get folks down there to see it, and excited about that. I know Vice President Driehaus will talk about the women's photo that we took of the women elected officials in Hamilton County, and we continue to grow, so I'm sure she will talk about that in her comments, but I was happy to participate in that as well. Also attended the Hamilton County District Advisory Committee with Health Commissioner Kestemer, and it was the annual meeting and the annual report, and it was good to see all of the different jurisdictions there and what we're doing as it relates to health beyond just COVID, but also a lot of other health partnerships around the county. So I was happy to be a part of that. And then I was also at the 513 Relief Bus on Monday out in Forest Park at the public library, and we had a nice turnout there. On the 27th, we will have one that will be focused on people with disabilities and children with disabilities. So that's going to be a very big one, and looking forward to having everyone come out there, and that's excited about that. Also, last week, I received the Salute Her Award, a national award through Cafe Mocha, and that was in New York City, and they had a number of national women that were recognized, including Melba Moore, Tony Award winner and Grammy Award winner. Melba Moore, I got a chance to meet her, was very excited, and was there and honored to be selected for Women's History Month to be there in New York, which I funded myself, so don't have to worry about that. But yes, was excited to be there among these strong, lots of strong women from around the country at that event. So was happy to do that and be a part of that. In addition to that, just trying to make sure, attended the Sharonville Business Appreciation Breakfast, and the keynote speaker was Lieutenant Governor John Husted, and they had a packed house at Sharonville. I was happy to be there and interact with several of the businesses in the Sharonville community. Trying to see if there's anything else I might have forgotten. And attended, of course, the OKI meeting today, and more grants were giving out for electric car chargers. Some more of those were given out. I was happy to be a part of that. I want to remind people who need help with property tax and mortgage assistance, they can go to 513relief.org, or they can also go to the bus. I think over 20 homeowners attended in Forest Park applying for the help that we were able to get an additional $700,000 for. So I wanted to highlight that. On Tuesday, there is an election. Tuesday, the primary election, so we won't have our meeting on Tuesday. Encourage everybody to get out and go vote. But Tuesday is an election, so we won't have a staff meeting. Wanted to highlight that as well. And then lastly, I was very excited. This young group of kids from Bethany, third graders, got a chance yesterday to show them the Cincinnati Black Music Walk of Fame. They had went to the symphony orchestra and then came down to the Walk of Fame. And they had so many great questions and interaction. It was just so much fun. They, one young lady, her name is Mia, and she wanted me to make sure that everyone knows her name. She said she's going to be a famous singer, and she pointed to where she wanted her star. She said, that's where my star is going. I said, okay, Miss Mia. So it was just a phenomenal thing. So that's what I have. I don't think I missed anything else. Yep, that's what I have. So I'll open it up, Vice President Driehaus.
Thank you. I too wanted to remind people that Election Day is next Tuesday, and their early voting is happening right now, and so there's still opportunities to vote early. So that would be today or tomorrow up until 7:30 in the evening, and then Saturday they have open hours for going to the polls at the Board of Elections from 8 to 4, and then on Sunday they're open from 1 to 5. And so if anybody needs any detailed information, the Board of Elections has a very easy to navigate website so that people know exactly where to vote and how to vote here in Hamilton County related to the primary.
John Lomax Day in Hamilton County.
Sorry, is that someone on Zoom talking, or we hear some feedback?
Unless it's in the room.
Okay.
Okay, I'm just
Go ahead.
gonna keep plugging along.
Sorry.
So I represented the commission at the CCAC opening. It's the Cultural Arts Center in
The
Clifton.
Tri-State. He retired from the anchor desk on April 29th, 2022. That date was proclaimed John Lomax Day in
I
Hamilton
think a
County.
video is playing while we're. Okay, try it again.
I'm
Try
just
to
going to keep
going.
on. I'm
Try
not
it
going to
again.
stop again. I'm just going to keep on going. So this is the Clifton Cultural Arts Center. We offered them a proclamation in honor of their new spot up on Clifton Avenue. It's big, it's beautiful, it's going to serve the community well. So congratulations to all the folks at the CCAC. I also visited the bus in Forest Park. There were a lot of individuals there, particularly from the Mauritanian community, and so I'm grateful to Trevina for trying to bring together resources for a specific population that is in need of some help as they set up their families and what they're doing here in Hamilton County. I also went to the Sharonville Business Appreciation Breakfast. John Husted was the keynoter at that breakfast, and it was a nice crowded event, lots of excitement about what's going on in Sharonville related to the business community. So I was pleased to be in that room. And then Pro Kids had an open house. They have located down on 7th Street. They are tremendous partners for Hamilton County because when we've got kids in care that are also making their way through the court system and families that are making their way through the court system, Pro Kids represents the interest of the child. And so they are so important to what we do in Hamilton County to keep kids safe. And so I was very pleased to go down there, tour the new facility, and congratulate them. It's really quite nice. It's very, very nice. I was glad for them. Lastly, HCRC, so the Hamilton County Addiction Response Coalition, is having our annual report tomorrow. It will be held at the coroner's office at 11 o'clock. Everyone is welcome to join. This will be part of the quarterly meeting of HCRC, where everyone is invited to attend and get an update related to the work of HCRC, and then dialogue. Listen to people about what they're seeing in the community and what we can do to try to do our best work to save lives and get people into long-term recovery. And so that's from 11 to 12. My colleagues, I think, are attending. You're more than welcome to join, of course. And we will have a report out from all of of the pillars of HCRC to talk about the work. We have seen a decline in the number of overdose deaths for the second year in a row in Hamilton County. And so while that is very positive news, it is still a challenge here in Hamilton County because we're losing hundreds of people every year. So it's a tempered, announcement. But anyway, it is a positive trend. And so following that, then at noon, Alicia Nelson is coming down from One Ohio. So she is visiting all 19 districts in the state of Ohio to make sure that any individual that would like to apply for those settlement dollars that will run through our local regional foundation, they have the information related to the process, related to the application itself, and how to navigate that. So she'll be coming down. She'll start at noon, and it will be a presentation by her and then Q&A so that people can engage in that. So if anybody is interested in hearing about that process, it's coming, thankfully. The dollars are coming soon. I was up in Columbus yesterday as the representative for Region 2, and we are very close to a final application that does reflect some of the priorities of Region 2 in addition to the rest of the state. And so we're very, very close, but the RFP is already, I guess it's a request for information, is already out. So if agencies are interested in getting signed up already, you can do that on the One Ohio website, knowing that the application will soon follow. So it should be a really interesting session. Thank you.
Awesome. Commissioner Dumas.
Thank you so much. Just a few comments. I attended the weekly House briefing through a webinar, and I just wanted to drop a few names. Zanita Adams is in the White House and deals with veterans issues, and they're looking at the expansion of services for those veterans that have been have experienced toxins abroad or here. They want to expand the amount of money that they're giving to their veterans, and they're working very diligently to make that happen. Lena Volin, V-O-L-I-N, talked about reproductive rights and advocacy for that through the White House. And I apologize, I don't have the next name. Tess is her first name. I can get her last name. She talked about AmeriCorps and needing more volunteers for that service. And I attended a Salute to a Legend honoring Philip Brown for over 60 years in the music industry at Allen Temple, and we gave him a proclamation from all of the commissioners. It was a great ceremony. I just enjoyed it tremendously, and he was very elated for getting the proclamation and all the other recognition that he received from everyone throughout the county and the national also. I was a judge on a panel for CVC, Cincinnati Youth Collaborative, and I was a panel for a judge for public speaking, and those young people have a great future ahead of them, so I truly enjoyed that. I was a speaker at the Second Chance Employers Symposium at Sharonville, and presented a call to action to those employers to get more employers to help those that are returning from incarceration. So it was just very uplifting to be a part of that. And as was said earlier, the Office of Addiction Response is having their conference tomorrow, and it says at the coroner's office, but I want to start saying the Dr. Odell Owens coroner's office, because we're a little bit behind on getting everything we need up on the building for him. We recognize and name that the Dr. Odell Owens coroner's office, and hopefully in May, we will be able to see that signage up there in May. I also met with John Brueggen, our finance director, to talk about the possibility of the RFP for the dog warden agreement that's coming up real soon. So we are going to discuss it as a board where we want to move forward. Okay, and I have a couple other things. I had mentioned that once a month I wanted to bring forward recipients of the Inspire grant, and we have a recipient that is here today from the Brown Hands Literacy Group, Latoya Turner, and she just wants to tell the community a little bit about how it helped her organization.
Yes,
Welcome.
Hello there. Thank you for having me. My name is Latoya Turner, and I am the founder of Brown Hands Literacy. It's a nonprofit organization, and our mission is to educate the youth about HBCUs at an early age through HBCU literacy events, films, and books, children's books. So I am the author of Brown Hands, Black Schools, HBCUs, which this is the book. And with this book, it pretty much educates the youth about all HBCUs. I'm a proud graduate of Central State University and was a teacher for Cincinnati Public Schools for 5 years and taught for 13 years. And throughout my time of teaching, educating the youth about HBCUs, noticing that a lot of kids do not know what HBCUs are, so that's how Brown Hands Literacy came about. So we have hosted HBCU literacy events because literacy is my passion. I have a master's degree in literacy and reading, and also with the science of reading coming up, incorporating that as well. With the grant that we received, thank you so much, super appreciative, we were able to purchase HBCU books, which these are some of the other titles. I'm not the author of these, but I love supporting other HBCU authors. So books like these.
Beautiful.
So a way to promote literacy and HBCUs at the same time. We just hosted an event last week because this book is now an animated film. And it's on Prime, and it's nothing like this. It's a 16-minute animation film to highlight all HBCUs, the science of reading, and the importance of literacy. In September of last year, Brown Hands Literacy was selected as a White House initiative on HBCUs, and we went to DC to showcase our work, which was super, super exciting, and even now closely working with them. So with the grant that we received, the screening and the film screening that we hosted last week, we were able to give away tons of the books, HBCU books. We also were able to set up a screening, like a film-like environment for the students. So we purchased books. We also purchased like red carpet so they can get this whole film type of experience. But the film, y'all gotta check it out. I'm so proud of the work. Kids play, Bruce, do you have the flyer? Poster boards. The story is told through kids telling the story of HBCUs. These are some of our cast members.
Great.
And we filmed here in Cincinnati, so we filmed in front of the National Underground Railroad Freedom Center, Paycor. Some of the film was done at Central State University and Wilberforce University. And here are some pictures of some of our literacy events that we've been hosting for the last 3 years. Just bringing it, and it brings families together. We talk about the band, what makes HBCU special, and bringing it to the youth. And so far, we've had great events. Like the last event, we had over 200 people with families who attended this event, and we just received a partnership with FC Cincinnati to host on Juneteenth to host a HBCU literacy event there as well. So with the funds that we received, we are super appreciative, and we were able to stretch it out. Because when I say we stretched it out, we got books, we got things for events. So we turned this into a film party, but there's nothing like this film, like nowhere. Not in Cincinnati, there's nothing like this film anywhere. Next month, well actually probably this month, we just received a contract with HBCU TV, which is a part of Allen Media Group, Byron Allen. So the film will be on HBCU TV, which will be free for everyone to watch within the next couple of weeks.
Great. Awesome. I'm excited. I'll open it up for any of my colleagues who want to.
Yeah, I'll go with Vice President Driehaus.
Thank you for coming in. Thank you for describing to us how the funding from the county had a positive impact on your organization. I mean, what you're doing is great. It seems very exciting. I'll look forward to reading some of those books. Thank you.
Yes, I'm for y'all. Prepared.
I'll just add to that. It's super exciting. I'm an HBCU grad myself, Grambling State University. So thank you for exposing the youth to HBCUs and also exposing them to going to college at a very young age. So I'm excited about seeing this movie that you talked about.
Please check it out.
And I'm excited to see how the county dollars was able to, as you said, you were able to stretch them and impact hundreds of youth. But I'm excited to see this movie that's out there. So congratulations, and this is great for us to be a part of.
Thank you. It's on Prime Video. Brown Hands, Black Schools.
Okay. Thank you for your success.
You did the clerk.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming and sharing. Okay, I have a couple other things. as we were giving condolences, I certainly want to give support from the staff and from our board as we, Christy, who is our assistant clerk, is going through some difficult medical times right now with her daughter, and we certainly will be praying for her and full recovery. So I wanted to mention that. And we also mentioned earlier about John Lomax and the impact he's had on Hamilton County, and I want to share when I took a proclamation to him, and that was in 2022. He was very surprised. You see, we have our mouths open, and he has a really great sense of humor, and we presented the proclamation to him, and we may have a video of the
He
proclamation.
meant a lot to the tri-state. He retired from the anchor desk on April 29th, 2022. That date was proclaimed John Lomax Day in Hamilton County.
That the Board of County Commissioners of Hamilton County, Ohio, does hereby proclaim the 29th day of April, 2022 as John Lomax Day in Hamilton County.
Well, that's just one day that was designated for the godfather of Cincinnati.
Yeah, just an awesome man. And so we were glad to be able to do it, and we'll remember him. He's certainly made an impact. And that's all I have. Just one thing I wanted to mention, there's a new office in the White House called the Office of Gun Violence, a newly developed office, and it's led by Rob Wilcox. And so I just wanted to drop that name in case someone had an idea about street violence or how we can curb the gun violence. You certainly can contact him. That's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you. One thing I did forget to mention, the screening of Shirley Chisholm. There was a screening, and Regina King and her sister produced it and filmed it down the street from our offices. I remember walking one day, I said, what's going on here with these older cars? And I stumbled into the set of Shirley Chisholm. And that film comes out, I believe, next weekend. It comes out next weekend. But I want to give a shout out to Film Cincinnati. And Christian, who has done a fantastic job of bringing lots of films. A lot of people are in those films. Jarrell Baptist Church is in there a lot. They filmed Shirley Chisholm's office, was in the mayor's office. So you'll see a lot of, and I saw our courthouse. There was a scene where they were walking, and I saw our courthouse in the backdrop. So it's a really good film. I love Shirley Chisholm. People who know me is one of my political sheroes. But it shows the behind the scenes and all the taking on the risk and all those things. So it's a really good movie. Vice President Driehaus, you were there as well?
Yeah, I forgot to mention as well. And I also want to compliment Film Cincinnati for bringing that here. It was a great economic development opportunity for us, and it was a good movie. Yep.
And then Sylvester Stallone was in town. So we just got a lot of movies coming. So that's good. Hollywood has moved to Hamilton County. I'll turn over to Mr. Ludo.
Thank you, Commissioners. No comments today, just 5 by leaves in your packet. By leave number 1, this is a budget adjustment number 10 in your packet. This is requesting the transfer of appropriations in the the emergency rental assistance program. This is a transfer from personnel to non-personnel. So as we are wrapping up the ERAP program, and we have the remaining individuals to whom payment is going out to. The board had allocated as much money as possible to finish that up, and this allows us to help finish that up and satisfy the rental assistance needs of everybody who was left in the queue when the program ended. So the administration recommends approval.
Okay. Before I would open it up, I just wanted to say that our team has done an excellent job. I mean, what about $100 million and help people stay in their homes in a global pandemic. And so it took a lot of creativity and outreach and those kind of things to make sure people are connected. And there were some other counties that weren't able to do it like we were able to do it. So I do want to commend the administration and all those that were helping to get this done to help so many citizens. So I wanted to say that. Vice President Dreehouse.
I'll pile on to that and say the folks over at JFS were extremely helpful here. It was a big lift, and they stepped up and tried to get that money out as quickly as possible. So happy to support by leave one.
Commissioner Dumas?
Just wanted to comment, I didn't hear Jeff say the amount, it's 1.5 million for this particular resolution, but, by leave, I should say, but we've done much more, as was indicated.
Okay. I make a motion to approve by leave one.
Second?
Commissioner Reese.
Yes.
Commissioner Dreehouse.
Yes.
Commissioner Summer Dumas.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioners. By leaves 2 and 3 are related. This is the report from the county engineer regarding the petition for annexation for 47.772 acres from Sims Township to the city of Loveland. The by leave 2 is the report from the county engineer. And these types of annexations require that the engineer do a report that shows that the various components of the Ohio Revised Code have been hit in order for this annexation to be valid. So I think the engineer's report found some problems with the annexation petition. And so your first item there, by leave 2, is accepting for the record the engineer's report. By leave number 3 is actually the withdrawal of that petition by the community, I believe, to presumably correct those errors before it gets submitted again. So these are both related to each other, but one is just the report from the engineer. The third is the actual withdrawal of the annexation petition.
Would you like to add to that, Mr. Engineer?
No, I believe Mr. Ludo covered everything. There was some errors in their legal description in their plat. They were advised of what was wrong. They're going to make corrections. That's why they withdrew it.
I'll open it up, Vice President Dreehouse.
No question.
Commissioner Dumas.
No questions.
Okay, I make a motion to accept for the record and pass by leaves 2 and 3.
Second?
Commissioner Reese.
Yes.
Commissioner Dreehouse.
Yes.
Commissioner Summer Dumas.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioners. By leaves 4 and 5 are also related, but I'm going to take them one at a time here. By leave number 4, it relates to the ICRC-TV project that was part of the pre-renovation projects that the board approved back in December of 2023. ICRC-TV is Internet Protocol TV. This is one of the projects that was initially scoped in those pre-renovation projects. The infrastructure down there, especially the cabling infrastructure within the stadium, is close to 25 years old at this point. So it's old analog coax cabling. So what this project will do is replace that cabling with the most up-to-date digital internet protocol cabling that supports all of the video screens that are on that backbone. It will also, the by leave number 4 approves the base bid of $8.725 million for the replacement of 740 of the screens that are within the stadium. It replaces them with new modern screens. Most of those screens are between 10 and 12 years old. This replaces them with newer digital larger screens, 50% to 100% larger than what is currently there, which helps with visibility for people in the stadium watching whatever is going on within the bowl. It also is extremely important for getting us up to modern technology and modern protocol as it relates to emergency messaging and emergency egress from the stadium if in fact there was an issue. So by leave number 4 is the base bid. By leave number 5 is the approval of the authorization of the investigation of the installation of 88 more screens. So the first one was 740. This is the potential for 88 more in some of the heavily general admission areas of the stadium as well. This is $814,000. So you have, these are related items, but by leave number 4 is the base bid. By leave number 5 is the potential for 88 more as a change order, presuming investigation shows that they are in fact needed there and that it will remain within the existing budget of the project. So with that, I recommend approval. I would just recommend that commissioners, these be taken one at a time as opposed to together, since they are separate items, and just from a procurement perspective, we'd want to approve them separately.
Just wanted to get some clarification. The base one falls within the $39 million that was already
They
approved.
both do.
And the additional would fall into there. So would not, we're under budget?
We are under budget with that entire project right now, yes.
Okay. And then the other thing I wanted to just put out, a question I had asked about on the boards. I know these are the ones that are inside, but we've got boards outside, and just wanted to be able to have something to say, welcome to Hamilton County, as their, rotation of these videos. As we
engaged
see
our
at the
team
Red
with
Stadium.
asking that very question, so we're going to be working on that over the next couple of weeks as well. Yes.
Gotcha, okay. Okay, I will open up Vice President Driehaus. Commissioner Dumas?
No questions.
Okay, I make a motion to approve by leave 4.
Second?
Commissioner Reese.
Yes.
Commissioner Dreehouse.
Yes.
Commissioner Summer Dumas.
Yes.
I make a motion to approve by leave 5.
Second?
Commissioner Reese.
Yes.
Commissioner Dreehouse.
Yes.
Commissioner Summer Dumas.
Yes.
Thank you, commissioners. No further by leaves.
Mr. Ludo, can you also, I know I have, I'm not sure of others, but I've been getting a lot of calls about I don't want to say the wrong word, but the type of turf that we're doing. We're changing turf to be more safe, but people have been asking, are we going to be able to have a piece of the turf, I guess, for mementos, or if we're going to use turf for other schools? And I know there were some safety concerns. Can you give an update?
Yeah, happy to. Thank you for bringing that up, because all three offices have asked me the same question. I've been getting emails myself on this. So one of the pre-renovation projects was the replacement of the existing turf inside of Paycor Stadium. Just the top layer. There's a lot of subsurface as well, but we're not doing that. We're just doing the top layer and the drainage layer. But the turf itself is, I believe it's going on 6 years old. It's getting to the end of its life. The design build team who's doing this project has looked into various ways of disposing of this turf, be it either just recycling it or reusing it, because they knew that there might be some demand there. There is a substantive, I don't have the exact number, but additional cost to take it up in the way that would promote the reuse of the turf in another applications for sports use. So they're looking at that cost right now. There's also a little bit of a concern that from a team perspective, they were looking at the replacement of this turf in part due to the fact that it was approaching end of life, and they were starting to become concerned with safety issues for the players, and there was some concern about giving it to another athletic institution to say, hey, it was we had safety concerns with it, but why don't you take it? So there was some concerns there, but we're still looking into that. I did bring up with our team this week the idea that if that is not feasible, and if the Bengals were looking at anything additional, like cutting it up and doing some sort of charitable type thing or memento type thing, that the county would want to be involved with that discussion as well. So I'll keep the board posted on that. I've not heard back on that yet, but I'll keep the board posted on that.
Okay. Thank you for that update. Appreciate that. Now we will move to the calendar. Mr. Engineer.
Good afternoon again. Just 4 items today. Item number 1 is the awarding of the bid for the 2024 resurfacing program. This is 5 roads: Dog Trot, East Miami River, Ebenezer, 8 Mile, and Van Blarcom, totaling about 5.5 miles. The engineer's estimate was $4,686,000. We had a low bid of $4,129,822, which was about 12% under our engineer's estimate, which we were very pleased with. The funding will be $2 million from the Road and Bridge Fund and the balance from the Permissive Auto Fund. Item number 2 is a resolution for a joint agreement with the City of Fairfield for the resurfacing and rehab of John Gray Road. The Corp line goes down the center of the road, so half of it is in Fairfield and half of it is county's obligation. Fairfield will be doing this project and managing it. This will allow us to pay 50% of the cost, which is estimated to be $100,000 out of permissive auto funds. Item number 3 is a resolution for Springdale Road improvements to go out to bid. The engineer's estimate is $1,364,000. This is a project that we received SORTA funding on, so 90% of the dollars are coming from the SORTA grant in the amount of $1,227,600. The remaining 10% is coming out of permissive auto funds. And item number 4 is resolution to put out the project for Gosling Road landslide repair. This is another project that we've received grant funding on. This is in Colerain Township. The engineer's estimate is $495,000. We received an OPWC grant in the amount of 90%, which is $445,500, and the remainder will come out of permissive auto funds.
Gotcha. Thank you. I will open it up for questions. Vice President Driehaus.
No questions. It's just a reminder of how expensive it is to keep these roads drivable. So Eric, appreciate your work on all of these projects.
Thank you.
Commissioner Dumas.
Just really excited about how we're leveraging our grants and sort of money, and we don't hear Hamilton County too much coming out, having to give too much, so I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think it's very important to keep our infrastructure. We have an aging infrastructure, so we've got to keep these roads and bridges going, and you have stayed on that. So thank you, and I'm glad we've been aggressive in getting outside funding for it. With that, I would put a motion forward to approve items number 1 through 4.
Second.
Commissioner Reese?
Yes.
Commissioner Dreehouse? Yes. Commissioner Summer Dumas?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, item number 5, Mr. Ludo.
Thank you, Commissioners. Yes, this is a resolution authorizing an agreement with the Center for Closing the Health Gap related to the use of senior services tax levy proceeds. This relates to the Care for Caregivers program that provides different services to caregivers of those in their homes to provide that assistance to the actual caregivers of seniors in the homes. And Ms. Webb is here to walk us through a few more details on the contract.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. This is a contract for the Care for Caregivers program. It was a part of the Senior Services Levy. The previous provider was Center for Closing the Health Gap. The contract was put out to bid last fall. Center for Closing the Health Gap was the preferred bidder for the county. We received 5 bids. They were the only locally based provider for this service. A lot of the others had apps and things like that. So it'll be a continuation of the program that Center for Closing the Health Gap has been doing the last couple years of the levy, and we look forward to working with them on this contract. It's up to $250,000 a year.
Thank you. In the last, I'm trying to think, the last contract, we were in COVID, right? So was that?
Yes. It was approved during COVID. It was bid and negotiated prior to COVID. So there have been a lot of pivoting over the course of this cycle. Center for Closing the Health Gap has been a wonderful partner in terms of doing what they can to try to figure out how to meet the needs of the seniors in the community. It was initially going to be classroom-based, I think trying to get 30 caregivers together to talk. Obviously, during COVID, that wasn't going to happen. They pivoted to a virtual option. Now they've repivoted. They are in the community more, working directly in senior centers, meeting those seniors meeting the caregivers where they can get to them where the seniors are to be able to provide smaller group approach, maybe get 6 or 7 individuals together at a time instead of that large base. We're still working on it. So I'm hoping by the time the Senior Services Levy midpoint review is up in another year or 2, we'll have a solid year of a really good program to be able to present on.
Yeah, I wanted to compliment Center for Closing the Health Gap because that was a tough time to get this program started. And this is a very tough program. This is a hard thing, and it's so needed. I'm running to more and more people who are caregivers. It's not like something you just sign up for. These, this is your family member, your mom, your dad, your grandparent, and there's a lot. I've run into people who are business owners and trying to take care of their mother. The hospital bills are high, even if you're on Medicare. I mean, I'm learning so much. You got Medicare, but now that only pays so much. You're going in more and more debt, but then you've got to try to get Medicaid. You got to fill out all these papers, but you got to work a job, but you might have your own family too to deal with. This is a lot.
Yes, and
I'm running into so many
what they
people.
find when you look at it and when you actually meet with the caregivers is the one thing that's the first to fall is the care for the caregiver, taking care of themselves and trying to teach them not only how they can be better advocates for the elderly person they're taking care of, but how to make sure that they're being taken care of.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to get them to pull themselves away from taking care of someone to have that understanding of how to take care of themselves.
Yeah, and I think that this program helps you because you feel like you're out there alone. And who do you call? And they can help you navigate and get to that. I've heard positive things that people said through this program because they really thought, I'm out here by myself.
You sound like you're listening to the testimonials on their videos, which is exactly that. I didn't realize there were other people going through this, and being able to form those connections has made a big difference.
This is big, so I'm very happy to support a program like this and the Health Gap reaching out to folks. I'll open it up, Vice President Treehouse.
Yeah, thank you for bringing this forward. This bubbled up during some of the public hearings we had related to not only the senior services levy, but the indigent care levy.
Absolutely.
And we had tons of people talking to us about how our priority was to try to have seniors age in place. It's what they want, that's what we all want, and trying to create the infrastructure to do that. And this care for the caregiver bubbled up as one of the highest priorities for the community. And so we were able to set aside different pots of money to try to, the other one was trying to keep people out of hospitals and trying to make sure that people had the support system at home so that the medical needs were met. This one is for the caregivers that are actually meeting those needs, right? So it was all this nice continuum of things we were trying to do through the levies. So yeah, and I'm supportive of closing the health gap. I think we're all familiar with good work they do. So thank you for bringing it forward today.
Thank you, Commissioner Dumas.
Yes, I think it's all been said how needed this program is, and so we're actually giving more money than the state had talked about giving some money. At some point, the caregiver was going to be asked to be certified or something like that. Did that go away, or?
I'm not sure. This program is specific to helping the caregivers to navigate their own medical situations and financial situations and make connections. It's not a payment program, so I'm not sure that might be something through Council on Aging, and they're coming in to provide an update in the next couple weeks.
Great. This is a great program. Thank you.
Thank you.
Once we pass this, I know we have our website and our portal, 513 Relief. I just want to make sure there's something on there that if we run into someone that is a caregiver, I can just say, go to 513 Relief and they can.
We will absolutely make sure that they have a connection to that, yeah.
Okay, great. I make a motion to approve item number 5.
Second.
Commissioner Reese?
Yes.
Commissioner Dreehouse?
Yes.
Commissioner Summer Dumas?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ludo.
Thank you, Commissioners. Moving on to the consent agenda. I'll walk through these fairly quickly. Item number 6 is the auditor's financial transactions for December 2023. Item number 7 is the auditor's statement of financial transactions for January 24. Item number 8 is the resolution approving one member to the Over the Rhine Special Improvement District. The board will remember that we at one time had Mark Von Allman as our representative. We then replaced Mark with Holly while we were waiting to fill that position. Now we have Kelly Adamson in that senior policy manager role. So this places Kelly Adamson in that role. I think Kelly is here with us today. So would recommend the board's approval of that item. Item number 9 is the budget adjustment number 8 for the various appropriation transfers and grants. This includes community development block grant, QRT grant funding, a grant in the coroner's office, economic development funding, as well as environmental services appropriation of some of the air quality grants at total of $1.099 million. Item number 10 is resolution P051-24 to accept and authorize a contract with Hamilton County JFS and MedCerts. This is for the training of SNAP consumers. Item number 11 is the purchase of one Mazda CX-5 for the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office at $25,983. Item number 12 is a resolution authorizing the award of RFP 041-23. This is with the Addiction Services Council for operation and the provision of treatment services within our recovery expansion pods at the Justice Center for $1.55 million. Item number 13, and that's from the Family Services and Treatment Levy. Item number 13 is a resolution P054-24, authorizing the award of an RFP to Council on Aging for the home repair program. This is specifically for Community Development's HVAC program for individuals requiring HVAC and heating assistance throughout the year at $150,000. Item number 14 is a resolution P055-24. This is the purchase of one Jeep Grand Cherokee for the Sheriff's Office at $44,310. Item number 15 is resolution authorizing an agreement between the Board of County Commissioners and the Village of Silverton regarding a community revitalization grant at $500,000. This is actually, I think, a 2022 grant that we are. There have been some leadership changes in Silverton, and we're moving forward with that grant at this point. I believe Jack Cameron is here from in the back there, waving. If there's any questions when we get to that point, then we have several JFS items. Item number 16 is an agreement with the Prosecuting Attorney's Office for activities of the prosecutor related to protection of the elderly at $116,862. Item number 17 is an agreement with the United Way for JFS and JFS for Youth Advisory Board services at $25,000. Item 18 is resolution authorizing a single source agreement with LifeStart on behalf of Job and Family Services for foster care services at $100,000. Item number 19 is authorizing amendment number 1 to the original agreement with Step Higher, Nella's Place, for independent living services at $192,000. Item 20 is a resolution J043-24 between JFS and NECO for independent living services at $1.1 million. Item 21 is renewal number 3 with NECO for foster care services at $5.436 million. Item 22 is also an agreement with NECO for independent living aftercare services at $49,999. Item number 23 is a resolution and an agreement with Children Have Options in Caring Environments or Choices for independent living aftercare services at $49,999. Item number 24 is authorizing renewal number 3 of the agreement with Changing Lives Youth Services and JFS for group home services at $500,000. Item 25 is authorizing an agreement between Changing Lives Youth Services and JFS for independent living services at $500,000. Item number 26 is renewal number 2 with Interim Healthcare of Cincinnati and JFS for nursing services at $20,000. Item 27 is authorizing an agreement between Kelly Youth Services and the board on behalf of JFS for independent living services at $1.1 million. Item 28 is authorizing amendment number 5 between Modern Health Labs LLC and the board on behalf of Job and Family Services for substance abuse screening at $250,000. Item 29 is resolution authorizing renewal number 3 with Kelly Youth Services and the board on behalf of JFS for group home services. And then, Commissioners, item number 30 is the request for authorization to travel at the county's expense. 2 employees from the coroner to Cleveland, Ohio, and 1 employee from the coroner to Rosemont, Illinois. And that would complete your consent agenda. Happy to answer any questions, Commissioners.
Thank you. I had a question on 27. Is this the Kelly Youth Services? I might got them confused. Is this the group home?
They have 2. There's actually 2 agreements on here. There's one for independent living services and one for group home services. Yes.
Okay. Is this the one we are always late paying?
I think we have had some issues with them in the past. I know we've remedied it a couple of times. I know we had an issue recently that was also remedied as well. So
I just hope we just can remedy it because, we are, they are, a lot of these are small businesses. And I just hate they just, have to keep calling my office and then, then it says, oh, we're remedying. And then it always ends up it's on our side that we're the fault. It's not a fault of something they did. And that just, I'm just trying to figure out how do we, because I think y'all were researching and then it was a glitch in your system, then we're going to fix the system. And then they hit them with something saying they can't pay them until they sign the contract. And I guess this is the contract and they had already signed it and was waiting to get it from on our side of the equation. So it's just hard for me because I keep, telling them what you said is going to be remedied. I mean, they've done their paperwork right, they've turned this stuff in right, they've done their contracts right. It's hard to describe why they keep, and they said they've got to go out and try to get loans and everything to keep the people that work for them paid to, because it's hard to find good help these days, and if you lose them, it's hard to get them back. So that's been their, they came back and said, well, they did sign their contract. Well, they signed it, but we hadn't signed it, so it wasn't their fault. So how do we?
Yeah. So my understanding, commissioners, and we can talk more with Director Patton on this topic, but my understanding is that the larger systemic issue that was initially the problem was investigated and was remedied. That the latest issue, my understanding from talking with Director Patton, was a much more specific and individual issue that has also since been remedied. So it's unfortunate it happened with the same vendor.
Yeah, because this is like at least 4 or 5 times with the same vendor. And then we researched it, and they said they did nothing wrong. So they've been asking me, what can they do to make sure, they can.
So my understanding is that the initial issue was remedied, and that the secondary issue that then happened was also fixed. So I'll continue to follow up on it.
I would like to put out, I'd hope to not see them again with that problem. I mean, I know I don't want anybody to have it, but it's the same company over and over and over, and the same.
I speak on behalf of Director Patton, we both concur with that. Yes.
Okay, all right, Vice President Drew.
Thank you. I just want to call out a couple of items, and since Jack Cameron's here, I would want to ask him to come forward and speak to item number 15. This is the one related to Silverton. I think this is an extension of the agreement that you have with the county, but no time like the present to brag about what's going on in Silverton. So please tell us about the project.
Well, the mayor would be disappointed if I didn't mention we had the mayor's brunch last Saturday, and it went very well. So he'll be happy that I mentioned an event. Anyway, thank you for having me here, and thank you for the opportunity to ask for these funds. Thank you for providing those funds. It's very impactful to the communities that are able to get them, and especially for us. This particular project started before I began in September of 22, so I'll say it was maybe sometime in 2021, and you made funds available for the community revitalization grants, and Silverton was awarded $500,000 for this particular project. The new model project is what it's being called. I started in September, and this was to help acquire some properties in that project area. And Mark Van Almen at the time gave me the agreement, and I said, it's already changed a little bit with these very specific parameters. Can we work through that? Mark isn't here, and so I've been working with Holly and now Kelly to get the agreement specific to what our project needs will be. Right now, the project is a couple blocks on Montgomery Road by Plainfield. It's probably going to be focused on just the first block, but what this grant will enable us to do is get control of some properties. That would help catalyze this project to get pushed forward potentially. But in the meantime, we already leased 2 of these lots for surface parking for the public, so we would be able to continue that. The other parcel involved, we would then get control of, and in the short term could make that parking as well. Then potentially roll that into the development if and when it happens. It might not happen in its current form with the current developer. It's still happening. But we would ultimately have control of these properties, so when they would come to develop and ask for permissions, we would not only have zoning controls, but we'd have actually property control. So it gives us several ways to help enable that area of Montgomery Road and Silverton to move forward, which we couldn't do otherwise without this help. So
Thank you. Appreciate you being here.
okay, you're welcome. Thank you.
Call out a couple other items, some good news here on the agenda. One is related to 12, which is the Addiction Service Council going into what will be the care pods over at the jail. We're finally getting them on board to try to get that open sooner than later. And then item 13, which is the home repair services through the HVAC component going to Council on Aging. I just want to remind people, I get asked this all the time, is there anything that the county is doing to try to help, especially senior citizens with home repairs? And so there is, and so I encourage people to get on our website to find this information. But here's another example of a partnership, making sure that we are trying to help folks stay in their homes. That's all I've got. Thanks.
Yes, thanks. And I want to add to that, Mr. Ludo, this amount that we have would not just be for seniors, it's people who meet that threshold. So as we're getting calls, anyone that needs help with repairs to their home that meet the threshold would call them, because I know they'll think Council on Aging, they have to be seniors, but they don't.
Yeah, we have Council on Aging managing a couple of programs for us. One is the home repair utility assistance program through the Senior Services Levy, and we also have them now managing our HVAC repair program with our community development block grants. Separate sources of funding. The community development funds, you can be, there's no age limitation, but there are income limitations for that. So as opposed to having multiple organizations trying to sort all this out and making it confusing for the resident, we have a one-stop shop where people can go. Council on Aging will sort out what's your need, what's your demographics, what pot of funding do you fit best in. So it just works a lot better.
Yep, great. I just wanted to highlight that you don't have to be a senior for this particular, but you will go there. So thanks for bringing that out, Vice President Treehouse. Commissioner Dumas.
Thank you. Just a couple of items. Item 13, as was mentioned just a minute ago, the home repair is a big deal. And I hope that we will keep it on the front of our mind that we may have to even increase that amount. That 150,000 seems a little low to me when we're talking about HVAC and heating. But I think it's a great thing that we're doing. I'd like to ask Laura if she's on the line. As we look at Kelly Services and what was the other one? Kelly Service, number 24 and 25, which is Changing Lives Youth Services. And I can combine it with Kelly Services when I ask this question. The Changing Lives Youth Services is getting $1 million for $500,000 for group home, $500,000 for independent. Kelly Services is getting $2.6 million for group home and independent services. So, Laura, are you there?
I am here. Yes,
Okay.
thank you for asking the questions.
Sure.
Um,
Let me just ask you this specifically as relates to programming and services. Are these separate cottages that these children are in? How does that work when you divide up the services that you're giving?
Well, how we're dividing them up is based on the individual providers' abilities to meet the needs of the young people that we are referring to their programs. And so, and these dollar values are based on historical utilization of the particular providers. Kelly has been a partner of ours for over 20 years. I've worked with them personally myself for many, many years. And so we obviously have great comfort with serving our kids in their programs. And some of these are newer programs that maybe they don't have as great a capacity as Kelly. But each child's needs are being assessed, and then we try to match them up with the best provider that can meet their needs.
Okay, so the group home clients are totally different, receiving totally different services than the independent living services?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Independent living is tailored more for kids 16 through 18 and older, preparing them for living independently in the community and when they emancipate. So the goal is not for reunification with family in those situations, but we're trying to best prepare them for living on their own.
So I'm not familiar with Changing Lives. Is that a cottage situation like maybe Hillcrest was as far as cottages, or is just a residential home that has these children in there?
It's a residential home.
Okay.
It's not like Hillcrest. Hillcrest is more of a residential treatment facility, and they do have multiple pods on site there.
Yeah.
But Changing Lives, they are also smaller than Kelly. They only have fewer locations available for their independent living program. But they too, we've had a long history in working with them. They just cannot serve as many young people as Kelly.
Okay. So do we have a client number as it relates to like Changing Lives Youth for group home services? How many clients are we talking about for 500,000?
Changing Lives, we currently have 7 kids in that program.
Okay. What about the independent living services for that Changing Lives? How many clients would that be for 500,000?
And they have the same amount. So, and I think that's pretty much maxing, at least for Hamilton County spots, because some of these providers also serve other communities too.
So finally, if you could tell me the client number for the 1.1 million for independent living services. How many clients would that be?
Is that with Kelly Youth?
With Kelly,
Yeah, they're currently serving 15 young people
okay.
in that program.
And so for
And so it's a little more than double than the other program.
okay, and the 1.5 for group home for Kelly would be how many clients?
And they have 11 in that.
11.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate it. That's all I have.
No problem.
Thank you. I make a motion to, give me a second. I make a motion to approve items and receive for the record, items 6 through 30.
Second. Commissioner Reese.
Yes.
Commissioner Dreehouse.
Yes.
Commissioner Summer Dumas.
Yes.
I make a motion to go into executive session pursuant to ORC 12122G6 to discuss details relative to security arrangements and emergency response protocols for a public body.
Second.
Commissioner Reese.
Yes.
Commissioner Dreehouse. Commissioner Summer Dumas.
Yes.